Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and you are listening to another episode of the world famous, the University of Love, the best podcast in one, two, three galaxies, the best show in one, two, three galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are not even going to fluff around today. We are not going to play around today, ladies and gents. I'm telling you right now that you listening to the show, what the millions and millions listening to the show, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you got going on. If you live here in America, I don't know about other countries because I don't live in other countries. But if you live in America, I don't care what you are, I don't care what you're doing. If you don't listen to me and listen to this episode, I'm gonna tell you right now, they are trying to replace you. They are trying to replace your job. They are going to replace you. They are going to replace your job. So, ladies and gents, I don't care who you are, what you do. You might want to learn how to sell. You might want to learn how to create content. You might want to create products. You might want to get into a field of, coding or anything, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm telling you right now, trust and believe you me. They are trying to replace me. They are trying to replace you. And it's only a matter of time before they do it. And so, this episode, let's talk about why wait. You know what? Somebody told me a long time ago, they said, robots are going to take over trucking. I said, God bless them. I can't wait until they do it. That was 20 years ago. They still ain't took it over. But I tell you what, they are bringing more and more people. First off, they have watered down, and I am only going to tell you about the field of trucking, and I'm going to tell you why. I thought about this yesterday. I was at a Popeyes. I'm gonna tell you what how this episode was birthed. Okay, I was at a Popeyes because as I don't know if you noticed or not, ladies and gentlemen, but I've started jumping rope, and I decided, we are going to lose weight because another thing, people, not to get off on a tangent, but we can be here all day talking about this stuff. People are worried about Medicaid and all that kind of stuff. Ladies and gents, you got to worry about your health first, okay? I understand, listen, my mother-in-law she was disabled, fully disabled, could not get out of the bed, okay? You need Medicaid for people like her. The 30-year-old who is able-bodied, he don't need Medicaid. We got far too many people, and I get it. We got far too many people that have been, but this is the government problem. We have far too many people who have been cheating the system, but the government lets it ride. You know what I mean? And so that's neither here nor there. But what I'm telling you is, it does not matter about the Medicaid. It does not matter. You want to be as healthy as possible. And so me, ladies and gents, I am you better come with me, folks. I'm not even half joking around today. They are trying to listen. It's it's sad, but unfortunately, in the world we are living in right now, there are the haves and the have-nots, and we want to be the haves. They they're the middle class is getting the squeeze. Okay, not the middle class, the working class. They're getting the squeeze, and so I don't care what side of the political fence you want to claim you're on. I don't care if you're conservative, Republican, whatever you want to say, Democrat, a liberal, whatever you want to say. Nah, we are in a class by ourselves, and you might want to wake up and stop worrying about, Trump doing this and Trump doing that, or Joe Biden would never, blah blah blah. Listen, I don't trust neither one of them jokers. Okay, you can't trust. Not listen. A politician is gonna politic. Okay, a politician, they're natural BS artists. Okay, I'm gonna just lay it out there. I know. You can't say that about all of them. Listen. Some people have good intentions. Everybody starts off in politics. Most people start off with good intentions. I get it. But at some point, a lot of them, you start getting the money, you start getting the perks. There's a reason why you can't get these people out of office. What was that lady, Dianne Feinstein? She was like 90 years old. Her daughter was in charge of her her daughter was in charge of her, and she was making laws for the country. That's ridiculous. These people do not want to quit. These people do not want to leave office. It's the same as the Supreme Court. It's not about the political side. It's not about what side of the fence you're on. It's about the power you get when you're in office. Does not matter. And a lot of times, most people, you and I, we're not. I'm not here standing on a high horse because you and I both know. Listen, I've never had that much power. If I had that much power, I might be a corrupt SOB. Okay? I might be, somebody come along, a bank come along and say, hey, if you help us pass this bill, just be a little something, 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 we can give your kid a job, in 10 years, when they get out of college. We'll pay them $350,000. And I'll be like, you know what, that's pretty good for my son. And so, it's not it's just about the political system. We really only have one party. They're all the same people. And so we need more, we need to separate, but that's neither here nor there. I know I got off on the political, but it's they seem to all work together if you ask me. Okay? That's all I'm saying. But what I'm telling you is it does not matter about that. What I'm saying is you and I, Bucko, you and I was at Popeyes yesterday, and they had a kiosk, and you could only order from the kiosk unless you were paying cash, and then you order from the kiosk, and then you would pay them cash. So I thought to myself, okay, this is what we're doing. The more you go to McDonald's, the more you go to Walmart, the more you go to, they got automated. It's starting to get more and more automated. What does that mean for you? Soon, you know, you're gonna start going to places soon, and they're gonna have the thing where they just scan you like going out. It's gonna be like a metal detector thing. They're gonna have that eventually. And this is not a gloom and doom. This is just the way you see it. You see it coming. They're gonna have something where they can just scan your bag and you don't even know it. They're gonna have that. It's gonna be available, and the person that was like, "Hey, let me see your receipt," that they're gonna be gone. One more squeeze, okay? Um, I was, when I first started driving, when I first started driving, uh, I love you. When I first started driving, they had this. I would go down to Laredo. Took a lot of loads to Laredo, Texas. Laredo, Texas. If you don't know, it's at the border. And so, I never went into Mexico. I would drop my load off. Normally, you would wait. Somebody bring up load back from Mexico, and then you would go wherever the load was taking you. But what I'm telling you is, you would go like 30 miles, maybe an hour, maybe up the road, and they had this checkpoint. And before it was just like dogs. I don't know if they had the system, but the last time I went through their system, they had these cameras. And before they would ask you, citizenship, blah blah blah, anybody in the truck. This time, like 15 years, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. They didn't ask me nothing. They was just like, "You good?" I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was thinking, Why am I good?" And then I noticed they had more. In the beginning, the first 2005, 2006, there was like maybe one camera. You know, 15 years later, around COVID, they had like 10, 20 of them cameras out there. And then somebody was like, "Oh man, they see everything in the truck, man." I was like, "Oh man, that's what they on." So, it's only a matter of time before they start knowing what you stealing out they already know if you're stealing out the store or not. They already know that. They have somebody at Walmart, they have security people, and they have the cameras on the register. And I know people think they're getting away with, stealing, but they just normally just waiting for you to steal enough, and then they're like, "All right, come on," because criminals are not smart. I know people think you watch movies and oh, this intelligent criminal. No, most criminals are not that bright. Okay, but I'm telling you all this just to say, brace yourself. Start now. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you want to sell. I don't care what you want to. You want to learn. You should learn coding. I have to. I have to. I have to. You know, the things that I'm gonna tell my daughter are way different than what my parents told me. My parents told me to go to college, to get an education, to get a job, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no. The normal BS, okay? And it's great. You know, you want to go to college, you want to get a degree, you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, that's great. But for you and I, the people that didn't go to college, the people that did not, I went to truck driving school. I went to truck driving school. We gone, baby. Hey, listen, we are gone. Okay, they are bringing the foreign invasion is happening in trucking. You see it every day. I just had a guy yesterday. Um, He was he was going backwards into the truck stop, going backwards into the truck stop. He was started waving his hands and everything, and I just laughed and I said, "I got to get out of here because one of them guys, these guys are getting more and more dangerous. Less skill. They don't have it in respect for truck driving. They already showed you, hey man, this job is for this. A weenie can do this job, okay? This job is for weenies. And no offense to anybody, blah blah blah. I really don't care, but I'm just telling you, they are bringing people in. You know, they are bringing more and more people in. Somebody's cousin from wherever. It doesn't matter. Africa, India, Asia. They are bringing them in, and they are giving them trucks, and they are tearing up the highway. And it's a lack of skill with it's a lack of skill all the way around. Less and less people have the skill. Less and less people have the training when it comes to truck driving because they think anybody can do this job. They don't give a shit. Okay, if a million loads, they like, hey, these guys can pick up a million loads. And they're like, hey, what if one gets messed up? So what? We'll bring more. Okay. And so they just have more people with less skill, and in the trucking. Before you had to really know how to back. You had to learn you had to really learn your craft now. You just see people and it doesn't really matter. I know they bring foreigners in because they can, pay them, less. They can pay them cheaper wages, but the American driver, the new driver, all they want to do is just, they can't. Hell, they can't get down the road either. No better. They can't get down the road. They can't back. But whether they do all day, film themselves. So hey, look at me, which I get it. I understand it because who really wants to do this type of work? You know, this work is a dead end job, and I'm not even going to get on the subject of that. Okay, we are going to write a book about that. This is a dead end job, to be honest with you. Wrapped in a weird lifestyle. Okay, you have to be gone all the time, but that's neither here nor there. My point is, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. They're trying to eliminate the warehouse worker. They are trying to eliminate the fast food worker. They are trying to eliminate the truck driver. They are trying to eliminate anybody. Manual labor, they are trying to get that up out of there. Okay, they are trying to bring the robots. It's not. It might not be your lifetime, but your kids and your other kids and your other kids. And so I'm telling you all this to say, you know, start start doing things that you can do. Start doing things now that you can make money from, that you can make real money from. And besides, we all know they these people are not going to pay you what you're worth. Listen, you can be on the road. On the average truck driver, if you think about it, you really sit down. If you're on the road 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 160 hours, divide that by whatever you make, and that's your real pay. You want to start learning the value of yourself. You really want to start learning how to, get the name up there. I saw a clip of Charles White. He said he got paid $100,000 a box. Now, you might not want to box. You might not want to go the route of a Charleston White. But what I'm telling you is, you want to go the route of somebody. You want to do things different. You want to shake things up, especially if you are in the field of the blue collar man or woman. Okay, you want to get out of this, because, or you want to get to the point where you're making money somewhere else and you can still do the work. Okay, because you do not want to get caught up. I'm telling you right now, you do not want to get caught up when they say they cut your job and you got nothing going on. You don't want to get caught up in that. You don't want to be that person. They shut where I grew up, every they shut down the Tyson plant. Man, there's so many. Man, I worked at Tyson. Know a lot of people that worked at Tyson. Yeah, almost everybody. My brother worked there. I had a cousin that worked there. Everybody worked at Tyson at some point. And so they eliminated their job. There was like 300-400 people, man, lost their job. Boom, like that. People that probably been working there their whole life. Them days are going long. Them days are getting longer and longer, man. It's less and less of that, man. And they just trying to eliminate the blue collar person, the 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 poor, the middle class worker. And they just, I don't even know if it's a they. It's just the system, man. It's just the system, and so you don't want to be a part of the system. You don't want to. You don't want to be one of these people that's worried about Medicaid. You want to. There ain't no excuses, man. There's no excuses. The best thing, the most beautiful part about this is, it's wide open for all of us. Okay, it's wide open. There ain't no excuses, man. There ain't no. I didn't know this was gonna happen. Oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. Nah, you know it. You see it coming. You can't be blind. You can't be dumb. You can't get caught up in the damn, we'll say, the matrix. You can't get caught up in the damn matrix. It's there. It's there for you. It's there. It's there in your eyes. I see it myself. 20 years of driving. I see the changes every day in truck driving. Man, please. I'm telling you. And like I said, no offense, but you just see more and more people. They barely can speak English, man. They barely can speak English, and it's like it's. I asked the guy for directions one day. I was at a warehouse. I was down in Georgia somewhere, south of Atlanta, you know. And I'm asking this guy for directions. This guy, he just shook his head, shook his head, he shook his head again. I said, man, he don't even speak English, man. Come on, man. And I ain't knocking nobody. Listen, I get it. Not, I used to wonder why people. I used to wonder why. I used to wonder why French people get pissed off and don't want to speak English to Americans. I used to wonder why. I'm like, why not? Why not? Now I know why. And not to be mean, but if I wanted to live in France, which this is why I don't understand Americans are assholes too. Okay, Americans are big assholes, probably the biggest assholes in the world. What I don't understand is me as an American citizen who lived in America, born here, grew up here. Why would I want to go? Why do I want to go to somebody else's country and and they go to like DR, they go to Thailand, learn the language. Why would I not learn the language? I wants to know what is going on. I don't want to hang around a bunch of I don't I didn't leave America to go hang around a bunch of expats in another country. That sounds stupid to me. Okay? That sounds dumb. If you go somewhere, you get a you adapt. You learn the culture. And that's what I'm telling you when it comes to this whole world about, you know, um, you know, about this whole. There's no excuses, man. There's no. I didn't know that they was trying to, eliminate people's jobs. No, figure out what you can do. Figure out what you want to do. Figure out how you can make money from investing. There's no excuse, man. People try to tell you all the time, "Oh, we didn't know. We didn't know about investing. We didn't know." Wait, yes, no, now, okay? Yes, no, now. There's no excuses. That there are. Nobody has any good excuse. Unless you are a newborn baby and you're shitting on yourself. Other than that, you got no excuses, man. My daughter, every now and then, she'll say, my wife is my daughter. She doesn't want my daughter's my daughter is a beautiful human being, but she is a stubborn little tyke. Okay, and they did the fire. They had the fireworks the other day. You know, and my wife told my daughter, these are fireworks. Next day, my daughter's almost 4 now, so she said, "Hey, what?" There was another firework that went off, and my daughter was like, "Oh, what's that?" My wife said, "You tell me what's that?" And then my daughter, she has this move where she's like, I ain't finna answer no questions, okay?" And my wife said, "What's that?" And daughter was like, "Nah, I ain't answer no question." And my wife said, "You know what it is?" And she's like, I ain't answer no question. And my wife turned the TV off, and my daughter sat there, and then she's like, "Fireworks," and she's like, "Why you can't answer the question?" Don't be my child, okay? Do not be stubborn. I am laying it out for you. The blue collar worker, gone. Okay, they you're gonna be here for a little bit of time, but what I'm telling you is, let's get the money up. Income proof ourselves. Everything's going up. Everything's going up. You know this already. To bitch and moan, to bitch and moan and bitch and moan about it and not do nothing about it is a mental illness. You are mentally ill, or you want to be mentally a child. You're not a baby. Nobody's a baby. We got to get out here, man, and we got to get to it. Okay, it's not just I'm talking to you, as a friend. We are friends. We are family. You listen to the show, we are family. A lot of you that listen to the show are family. But no, what I'm telling you is I'm being very honest with you, man. I'm being very honest with you. My job is this is at the end for me. I'm gone. In my mind, I'm full blown copyright, and we are making that happen right now. Just learn who I just learned who I got to talk to and who I got to start booking and all that jazz. And so me personally, I'm gone. I've been thinking about this for the last 5, 6, ever since I got married. I'm thinking I got to get out of trucking. Okay, and it's it's a plot, and you got to make it happen. You got to get a move on. You got to get a groove on. And I like you, and I love you, but I don't want to hear no excuses, man. I don't want to hear no BS. We all have the ability to. We all have the ability, especially you. We all have the ability to move on. And like I said before, no offense. It's not just that. It's just like when they take a company. You know, you see a plant, you see like a car plant, and they move it to Mexico. They was paying people in Detroit. People in Detroit, they were making good money working for General Motors. I remember they had a Ford plant in Atlanta when I first moved there. In Hateville, I think they closed that down. It's just they eliminating, and trucking used to be a decent job. You can make a decent wage, but you really haven't had a bump in pay in a long time. And now they got a bump in pay now, but it's still not to where it's at. But there's no excuse though, because you can get out of this. And so I'm just telling you, man, it's a change, and your politician ain't gonna help you. You know, your cousin ain't gonna help you. You gotta help yourself. You know, don't be on social media, you know, bitching, hooping, and hollering about a stupid bill that you ain't got no control over. All you can do is vote for your politicians, and what they do once they get elected, it's what they do. Now you can write them, you can contact them, you can keep on them. You can keep on their ass. I'm not saying you can't do that because you are a citizen. And actually, it would be better if more of us kept on their ass instead of bitching about them on Twitter or bitching about them on Facebook. If you wrote your congressman, I wrote my congressman before, about a gun law. He wrote back. I read his newsletter. I see what kind of bills he voting for. I try to keep track of who who's voting for who when it has to do with me. And I don't control what goes on in Alabama. I don't really care what goes on in Mississippi. The first thing you got to do, and this is another problem that we have, people are trying to be too worldly. Man, listen, the world ain't got nothing to do with you. Your plot of land is right here, wherever you live. I live in good old Atlanta, GA. My plot of land is right here. I gotta make sure my house is straight first. Then I can look out to the city. Then I can look out to the county. Then I can look out to the region, to the state. And then I can start looking at the federal. But until my house is in order, the laws and all that, I'm still learning. I've had to learn the hard way, Did you know that you can't have a fence? Your fence can't be down and your pool be open. I learned that. I also learned the county, Cobb County has an ordinance about trucks parking you can't park your own truck in your driveway, not your own tractor trailer, okay? And so I'm telling you all this to say the world is changing. You got to adapt. You can't sit there and go, God, listen, as I told you before, man, back in the day when I was in the Navy, I used to get on the payphone, call my parents once a week, twice a week. Hey, mom and dad, how's it going? It's all good. It's all good. Click clack. That's it. I used to, I went from California to Missouri on a Greyhound with no cell phone. Those was the days. Them days are dead, man. Those days are dead. So times change, and you got to change with them. So I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're doing. Don't sit around and don't wait on your hands. Okay, figure out what you need to do. Figure out what you want to do. And go do it. It's things are always open. And like I told you, it doesn't matter. Instant success never happens. The only people that do instant success, oh, I made $1 million overnight. Scam artists. You don't want to be no scam artist, do you? Of course you don't. So, ladies and gents, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow with all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. Until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. God bless each and every one of you. And get out there and let's get it, okay? And as always, everybody, peace.